Hey everyone, welcome to week 5 of the 8-week Perfectly Imperfect Vlog Challenge. I think I got it right this week. I want to talk about the comparison between Black Friday and this very difficult 2020 year and COVID. So, the history of Black Friday, first of all. There's a couple of different stories, but I'll give you both. The original history of Black Friday was from a day, September the 24th of 1869. It was a Friday. And it was after a few weeks of these two financiers on Wall Street trying to buy up all the gold so that they could raise the prices of gold and then sell it and make a profit. Once other financiers caught on to what was going on, it ended up creating this huge crash in the stock market. So everybody lost out. Everybody was in a bad way. So that's one of the stories, way back in 1869. But the story that is the most true to the Black Friday that we know today has to do with Philadelphia. So back in the 1950s, every Saturday after Thanksgiving, there was an Army-Navy game, a football game. And people would flock from all over the place to come see this game. They would start arriving on Friday after Thanksgiving. And they would hoard the city, they would crowd the city, there would be fighting and riots. The merchants were not only making sales, but they were also having a great deal of theft. So they were also losing quite a bit. And over time, they tried to turn it around. They tried to turn it into a sale day, make it a big day in Philadelphia when everybody was coming in, calling it Big Friday. And it didn't work out that well. It was still a big struggle for them. But it ended up becoming known as Black Friday because of how chaotic the Friday was before that Saturday Army-Navy game. And over time, it has morphed into the Black Friday that you know today. So the Philadelphia story kind of spread around the country. Retailers started looking at this Black Friday model from the east to the west and now around the globe. And as it happens, now it's known as this big holiday, and not holiday, but sales holiday, if you will. And what it relates to in business terms is going from the red, which means being in a non-profit or negative financial profit state, into the black, where you move into making a profit. So that's where the coined name Black Friday is coming from now. So I think that's kind of interesting. And the reason I bring it up and compare it to COVID is because what it is to me, the perspective I have on that history, I looked it up just for the sake of curiosity, but that is what inspired this blog. The human spirit can make the best out of anything, right? I mean, in these situations, both of these pieces of history, it's just about how people turned something that was black, something that was negative, something that was tough, and trying, merchants getting ripped off, and there being riots and crowds in the streets, the cops working overtime, into something that has become fun for those who are willing to go out and shop on Black Friday. I'm recording this from home today, so obviously I'm not one of them. As it relates to COVID, this has been a tough year for a lot of people. And as I've reflected on this year, I can clearly see so much reasoning and so much value for a lot of the difficulty that has taken place. When I moved and I lost my apartment and I started sharing an office space and lost my own independent office space, I was afforded this great amount of time and a little bit of relaxation, financially and otherwise. I wasn't seeing as many clients. In moving in with my boyfriend and the kids, I didn't have as many expenses. And so I had this time. And one, I learned to slow down. But more importantly and more of value to me, that is what afforded me the time to become my mother's hospice care provider and have this beautiful honor and gift of being able to walk her home. And as the year has gone on, that was in June, I can clearly see how I have slowed down. I do have a greater balance. And it's been such an awakening to how much I took on and how much I really just was in overkill. And I've been that way for so much of my life, but this has just been a beautiful awareness and a beautiful opportunity to rebalance and kind of regroup and establish kind of the what's next. And I'm still doing that. I'm still adjusting, but as I reflect and I slow down and I feel a little bit more grounded and peaceful in my soul, I have a little bit more trust in this slower, more still pace. So that's me making the best of it. And I wanted to add that I've seen a lot of other people do the same. And I posted on Facebook just a couple of weeks ago what has been incredible, quote unquote, good or bad, to you for 2020. And I will say that, many people added a comment, but there was one who added a comment that said this was the best year of her life. She talked about how she was no longer traveling the vast majority of the time for her job, and it afforded her a chance to slow down, catch her breath, regroup, and she's doing better than ever. And she was hesitant to share that because there was so much difficulty for others around the world. And to me, I loved reading it. I loved seeing that someone had a good year. So my perspective here is that as humans, the human spirit's tough to keep down. The human spirit is something that does make the best out of situations that are dark. You can overcome anything. And it doesn't mean that anything isn't heavy or dark or loaded with grief or sadness. This last few years has had a lot of grief for me. And I'm overcoming it. I'm getting to the other side. I'm finding my feet with kind of a greater focus. You know how they say hindsight is 20/20. Well, my hindsight of 2020 is one of gratitude. So I am grateful. I'm grateful for so much value in hard lessons. And I hope that you are too. And I'm curious, for those who wish to respond, what have you seen that you can make the best of and that you see value in from these difficult times? So thanks again for watching. I totally appreciate it, and I will see you next week.